तत्परम्पर्यय विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयाते। ओम योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंदगिरी गुरु महाराज की जय। ओम पुदुवै कलैमामणि पुदुवै शक्ति योगचारिणी अम्मा जी मीनाक्षी देवी भवनानी गुरु माता की जय। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Namaste, vanakkam, swagatam, bonjour, buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, huya more, boreda, kiora, salamat pagi, ayubovan, ayushman bhava, salom. Welcome to the 92nd episode of Scintillating Saturdays, and a special episode because it's falling on my 50th birthday. And today, here we are celebrating Chitra Purnima, the full moon in the auspicious month of Chitra, which is right after the start of the new year. Shri Shubha Krit Varsham, a very auspicious year that has started. Today is also Hanuman Jayanti. For those in North America, it is still Good Friday. In this part of the world and Australia, down under, New Zealand, well, we are on to Easter Saturday and celebrating a beautiful day today. I wanted to share some thoughts today on the concept of Anandam. The term Anandam is loosely translated as bliss. And for those of you who know me well, you know that I have to add a ness to everything, so it's blissfulness. So rather than just bliss, it's blissfulness. You are full of bliss and in a state of being. So that ness for me is a state of being. So blissfulness, and you add to it a prefix joyful. Joyful blissfulness is what for me Anandam implies. We as a entity, as an individual, well, we have at least 5 levels of existence. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. The physical, anatomical, structural existence, the physiological, pranic, vital existence, the mental, psychological existence, where manas comes into our consciousness, that beautiful Vijnanamaya Kosha, where our Viveka Vairagya capacities are developed, the capacity to discern, know the real from the unreal with that Vivekam, and the 5th, the Anandamaya Kosha, where we are held together by an unparalleled sense of joyful blissfulness. Many years ago, we put together a song that brought out the blissfulness that happens when all the 5 koshas come together, when we become an integrated being. When we are an integrated being, we are in that state of Anandam. Anandam, Anandam, Anandame, Anandam, Anandam, Anandame, Pancha Koshangal Orunginendale. Anandam, Anandam, Anandame, Anandam, Anandam, Anandame, Pancha Koshangal Orunginendale. How when all those 5 koshas come together, when those 5 koshas come together, when all aspects of our existence are integrated and we are a wholesome being, that wholesomeness, that Purnam, is what that Anandam is. Because Anandam, that joyful blissfulness, cannot manifest if we are a fragmented being. Fragmentation will not allow us to manifest that bliss. The blissfulness of Anandam, it only manifests when we are a wholesome being. And that is why that wholesomeness, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate, that Purnam has to be there. It is in that sense of Purnam, completeness, wholesomeness. It is in that state that bliss manifests. And this is why for that Anandam to be experienced, it is so essential that we are tapping into that most refined, subtle aspect of our existence, which is the Anandamaya Kosha. And this Anandamaya Kosha is the subtlest. It's the deepest. It's the subtlest. It's the most refined. And hence, it takes a bit more effort than the rest. When you want to work on your physical wellness, when you want to manifest wholesomeness at the physical, structural level, well, it can be done, even by external means. When you want to enhance your homeostatic, golden mean of the physiological wellness, functional wellness, again, external means can help you. And internal means, of course, facilitate it. Once you come into that Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, it requires a lot of internal work. But Anandamaya Kosha is absolutely about internal work. And that is why when we are seeking that Anandam, when we want to manifest that Anandam, it is imperative. It is imperative that we take upon ourselves the responsibility to work towards a state of oneness, wholesomeness, integrity. Because when our thought, word and action becomes one, what I think I say, what I say I do. Sindai sol செயலும் ஒன்றாய் விளங்கிடவே வாழ்வோமே. சிந்தை சொல் செயலும் ஒன்றாய். When your thought, word and action, when they come together and when you work in a way that all three are one, there's no fragmentation. We go back to that original part. You are defragmenting yourself. So if you want to manifest that Anandam in you, you have to work on defragmenting yourself. Because as long as you are a fragmented individual, as long as you are fragmented, you are not whole. And if you are not whole, that blissfulness will not manifest. But we want a shortcut. We want to be fragmented, unwhole, unwhole, that's a new one. And yet we want bliss. So we try to say, can I take a drug that will give me that bliss, and we call it ecstasy. We try to take something externally which will give us happiness, which will give us that state of bliss. So we think if I just get a better house, a better wife, a better husband, a better life, a better job, and so we are constantly going externally. This is like that musk deer, Kasturi man. That musk deer which is searching all over the forest for the source of that beautiful smell. He says, this is such a beautiful scent. Where is the source of this scent? And it's searching the whole forest, not knowing that that musk deer itself is the source of the scent. We are the source of our own Anandam. But we are searching externally. We are always expecting somebody else to make us happy. What a fallacy. As long as you outsource your happiness, you can never be happy. As long as you outsource your happiness, you cannot be happy. You have to realize the source of your happiness is you and you alone. And how do you find that? by defragmenting yourself. That is the process of yoga. Through the different aspects, be it the Hatha Yoga, be it the work with the pranayama, the work with the mudras, the bandhas, the kriyas, working with the shatkarmas, working with the pratyahara practices, working into the concentrative, contemplative practices that enable us to come into that state of a meditative oneness, which is dhyanam, and that beautiful sense of absorption, which is samadhi. In fact, when Maharishi Patanjali talks of samadhi, he talks about it. He says, Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmita. He says there are 4 types of samadhi at the base level. Sampragyata samadhis, Sabhija samadhis. One of them is the Ananda or Sananda samadhi, which comes with that state of bliss. When we start to look in and when we start to work on ourselves, can I be that integrated human being that I am meant to be? That is where Anandam lies. And that is why the key to manifesting wholesomeness at the Anandamaya Kosha level is in serving, in service, in seva. And that is why Karma Yoga, seva, is such a vital tool to manifest that beautiful sense of Anandam. That beautiful sense of Anandam manifests when we give of ourselves unconditionally. When we give of ourselves unconditionally, when we share and care with love unconditionally, we are then working towards the epitome of seva. We are working towards that epitome of seva. And in that concept of nishkama karma, where we are losing the lower self and we are moving from the I to the we. As we move from that I to the we, from that limited me, mine, which will fragment us. Because the moment you think me, I, mine, you are already fragmented. You have separated yourself. Dvitiyam, duality, two-ness. That is the source of all the problems. The source of all the problems is Dvitiyam, a sense of feeling separated from the universe in which we are a component. We are a component of the whole. But then we separate ourselves and we see me. You are already fragmented. And if you are fragmented, Anandam will be elusive. And that is why the defragmentation process is the process of yoga, where we make the choice not to limit ourselves to that fragmented tiny bit, but that we start to focus on what we are as part of that wholesome oneness, moving towards that Purnam. When my parents named me 50 years ago, they brought in the name Anandam, and Ananda was brought into my consciousness. Growing up, being called Ananda, in Tamil Nadu, you could be Anandan. You know, it's very common here. We always add something to the end of it. So, Anandu, Anandu, Anandan. And then if you are meeting someone from the north, it becomes Anand. Swamiji was very clear, it has to be Ananda, because there's a yantric pattern to that. And yesterday I looked that Ananda ji actually changes the whole pattern, makes me less business-like. It's funny, I was just analyzing it when I saw a few things yesterday. Swamiji was very clear. And he used to remind me, he said, see, we have given you the name Ananda so that you will realize what you are and manifest it. A name is not a label, nama rupa. It is a methodology. The name becomes a methodology for us to manifest what we can be. And this is why Swamiji never tired of reminding me that I needed to live up to my name, Ananda. And he said, the days when you are not in that state of blissfulness, when you are not in that state of joyfulness, remember, you may not be yourself. And I realized very young that the responsibility to be me and manifest what I can be, which is why I think I have been driven into a life where I firmly believe in caring and sharing in a loving manner. Because what I have found is the more I give of myself, the more joyful I am. The more I share of myself, the more blissful I am. The less I think about the me, the more the Anandam manifests in my life. Swamiji used to joke about it. He said, Ananda, all these Swamis, every Swami, when they take sannyasa diksha, they get a name, and most of these names will have an Ananda at the end. So be it Gita Ananda or Satchitananda, Satyananda, Vishnu Devananda, Jnanananda, Kanakananda, Yogananda. You will have all these Swamis with Ananda at the end of the name. Because when you take up sannyas, the idea is you leave behind all these fragmented parts and you defragment yourself. So the process of sannyasa is a process of defragmenting so that you are wholesome once again. In your computer, in your computer, if it is fragmented, it slows down and it doesn't work properly. So then you have to defragment your computer. Same thing here. When you defragment, you are becoming whole. You are becoming one again. And automatically your efficiency, your skill in action, yoga, karmasu, kaushalam will be enhanced. All of that is the side benefit of it. So automatically you are going to be growing in who you are. So when someone takes sannyas, they are given a name, dash Ananda, dash you fill whatever you want, Ananda. Even Bhoga Ananda. There are a lot of Bhoganandas around these days. But what Swamiji used to say is, he said, so many of these Swamis with the name Ananda as part of the name look so morose, so dull, down, depressed. And Swamiji said something is wrong, because he said when you carry that Ananda as part of your identity, how can you be morose? How can you be down and depressed? And he used to tell me, he said, Ananda, if you ever meet a Swami whose name, has Ananda in it, and if they are not manifesting joyful bliss, go and pull the beard. Go and pull the beard and say fake, 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 fake. And that was actually the instructions given by Swamiji to me as a kid. He said, if you find a Swami, whatever Ananda, dash Ananda they are, and if they are not manifesting it, they are not living up to the name, pull the beard and go fake, 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 fake. I always remember that message of Swamiji. Because the moment you are not you, you are fake. The moment you are not you, you are deceiving yourself and deceiving everybody else. And then how can you be happy? How can you be blissful? How can you be joyful? See, as long as, they often say that if you are telling lies, you have to remember a lot. But if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. It's the same type of concept here. Because when you start telling lies, you have to remember which lie you told whom and when. And you use up a lot of your disk space. Your cosmic disk space gets used up by all of that information. But if you are just what it is always in the recent memory. You don't have to waste any storage space at all. Automatically your systems are upgraded, they come into optimal level of functioning. Similarly, when you are living yourself, when you are living as you are meant to live, optimal level of functioning will be there, because you are not trying to be something else. Because in trying to be something else, you use up a lot of disk space in the cosmic plan. Your cosmic plan has run out for this month. You used up all of that disk space, all that, gigabyte, gigabyte, universal byte, UB. You used it all in being somebody else. Whereas when you are yourself, and when you manifest who you are in that essence, optimal level of functioning. And this is why very early in my life I realized that, maybe because I'm lazy, the easiest way forward was just to be myself. The easiest way forward was just to be myself. It was energy efficient, optimal functioning. So when I'm myself, I am energy efficient, optimal functioning. And that is why I realized that bliss, Anandam, is my essential nature. The moment I realized that, life has made so much more sense. And that is what our beautiful scriptures tell us. We are all, even if you are not named Ananda, we are all in essence Sat Chit Anandam. We are that pure reality that is Sat. We are that Chit, that pure consciousness. And we are Anandam, that bliss. Sat Chit Anandam. Sachitanandam. That is what we are. And so when we are living in tune with that reality as it is, that consciousness that percolates and pervades everything, and the blissfulness of being wholesome, automatically energy efficient human beings. Everybody wants an energy efficient car. We want energy efficient cars. Why don't we want to be energy efficient human beings at our optimal level of functioning? When we talk of this Anandam, I'm often also reminded of Maharishi Patanjali's teachings on Santosha. Because he says, Santoshat Anuttama Sukhalabha. And for me, that Sukhasthanam is again a state where Anandam manifests. And that if you want that Anandam to manifest, one of the key aspects of living is contentment. Because when we can have that contentment manifest through us, again, it is energy efficient. The small things in life can give you so much of joy if just you are open to them. Ammaji has narrated to us so many times. Now Swamiji had that childlike enthusiasm for life. He was bliss personified. He would get up in the morning and what a wonderful day, another day to live as human being. What beautiful flowers. He would go have a bath and he'd come out and he said, this is the best bath I've ever had. The best shower I've ever had. Hasn't today been wonderful? And it's not like life was a bed of roses. There were a lot of thorns always. The struggle that Swamiji and Ammaji went through, well, even in those times, they found that santosha and they found that sukha. I may have seen Swamiji angry at times, especially when faced with, stupid students and the rest of us who just couldn't match up to where he was. But I don't think I ever saw him depressed or unhappy. This is something which is very important, that we realize what an opportunity we have to be born human, and what a beautiful planet on which we live. You look out there and you see the bugs crawling along, the ants taking their sugar pieces down the wall, the birds chirping. You just look out there and everything is moving along in a beautiful way. And when you start to see it and you find the joy in the simple things in life, when we take joy in every breath we take, when we can feel the joy of every small act we can do, the highest level of joy is, of course, to do good for people and they don't even know you have done it for them. It's a very joyful experience. Now, most people think that you have to do for somebody and let them know you have done for them and get them to thank you 100 times and then you feel happy. The greatest happiness, the greatest joy is when they don't even know who has done it for them, but you have done what needed to be done at that time. Now, when we start to realize that life is an opportunity, then this bliss can manifest. Because what has happened is we are moving that splintered, fragmented component away. And we are moving from that fragmented to an defragmented state. We are moving from Dvitiyam to Ekam. We are moving from that duality, that two-ness, into a state of oneness. And this is a choice. To feel separated is not it happens. It's like, always the negative parts can happen more easily. Destruction is much more easier than construction. To let things devolve is much more easy than make them evolve. So it's always going to be, a tough one. Parinama tapa, as Patanjali tells us. But the fact that you have done your best, the fact that you are moving away from what's in it for me. See, as long as we think what's in it for me, Anandam will not manifest. When we can ask ourselves the question, how can I make this situation better? What can I contribute to make this world a better world? When we start to ask of ourselves those questions, we are closer to Anandam. Because as long as we are focused on what's in it for me, we are splintered, we are fragmented. And I think the Karma Yoga Seva, to serve selflessly, Krishna makes it very clear. Nishkama karma. I think that is the key to manifesting that Anandam. When we talk of Lord Shiva's dance, the cosmic dance, it's Ananda Tandavam. Because that's what the cosmos is all about. Not just Ananda Tandavam, it is Sadananda Tandavam. It is always eternally filled with bliss. Anandame, Paramanandame, Anandame, பரமானந்தமே ஐயன் பயவர கையன் திருநடனம் ஆனந்தமே பரமானந்தமே ஐயன் பயவர கையன் திருநடனம் ஆனந்தமே பரமானந்தமே தேவம் தித்தளாங்குத கச்சுணுதம் தம் தம் தேம் தித்தளாங்குத கச்சுணுதம் தகதிமிததிமி தகிடதீம் தித்தளாங்கு தகஜனுதம் தகதிமிததிமி தகிட தனகு ஜனகு தத்துவம் என்ற ஐங்காரமோ ஜனகு தனகு தத்துவம் என்ற ஐங்காரமும் டுடுகு டுகு டும் 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 டுடுகு டுகு டும் 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 டுடுகுடுகுடும் டும் டும் என்ற உடுகையின் ஓங்காரமோ டுடுகுடுகுடும் டும் டும் என்ற உடுகையின் ஓங்காரமோ தன் பதயுகளை செந்தாமரை பணிவ சிந்தா குளமகள தந்தோம் பதவியன பாப்ப பதவி சனித பமகிரி சனி நித பமகம பப்ப பதவி சனித பமகிரி சனி நித பமகம பத நிதம பத பத சகாரி சனித சனிதபமப்ப மகம ஆனந்தமே பரமானந்தமே சச்சிதானந்தமே கீதானந்தமே கணகானந்தமே யோகானந்தமே ஞானானந்தமே கீதானந்தமே that beautiful dance ஆனந்த நடமாடுவதில்லை. He dances that beautiful gay abandon, the dance of the cosmos, the dance of that cosmos that is coming through Lord Shiva, Nataraja. Because that cosmic dance is filled with Anandam. Why? Because the whole universe is filled with Anandam. Creation is Anandam, maintenance is Anandam, dissolution is Anandam, because all of it is part of the process of growth. And growth is Anandam. And that is why when Lord Shiva is dancing, there is that blissfulness of the whole universe, the dance of the subatomic particles, as it was described, the Nataraja. The Nataraja symbolizing the dance of the subatomic particles. Everything vibrating with that dance. Idadu padam thokiyadum. When he dances, what beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dance. ஆடிக்கொண்டார் அந்த வேடிக்கை காண கண் ஆயிரம் வேண்டாமோ. See, all that energy, all that bliss, all that dynamism is there, because that is what the universe is about. And Lord Shiva dancing with that joy, because Lord Shiva symbolizes auspiciousness, evolutionary change, transformation, which is what life is all about, which is what yoga is all about. Transformation and transcendence. That is that Anandam that we are trying to connect to. And every one of us, the fact that we have an Anandamaya Kosha means that Anandam is there as part of our system. We just don't know where the file is. You know those days, you know you have a file on your computer and you cannot find it? That's a common state. We need to find that. And how do you find it? Let go of the I. Let go of the me, which makes us so mean. Me, mean. We have to let go of that. Because as long as you are holding on to that me, and as long as you are fragmented, Anandam will be elusive. When we start to realize that we as a mindful human being, we as a conscious being, have an opportunity to consider others. When your thought process starts to think of others, and look at multiple perspectives. This is why one of the practical ways to work on this is Brahma Mudra. Because as you start doing the Brahma Mudra, you start to really open up to multiple perspectives. And the moment you open up to multiple perspectives, you are not so bogged down anymore, because as long as you only have your perspective, you are very bogged down because you are limited, you are in a box. But the moment you open up to multiple perspectives, I don't say you have to accept all the perspectives as correct, but you have to be aware of multiple perspectives. You have to be open to realizing they exist. And then you come into your central balance where your perspective becomes a perspective that encompasses all the multidimensional perspectives. It's like a Venn diagram. You know, these Venn diagrams like that, this. You know, you have to be aware of all of that and then find that place where they all come together. Where is that place where they all come together? Within yourself. Within yourself. And that is why that joyful blissfulness of Anandam is something that is deep within each and every one of us. You know, you go into the so-called undeveloped countries, you go into the areas of countries that people think don't have the modern facilities, and you find that people are much more happy. People are usually much more healthy also. And then we bring in these modern developments. You know, we try to bring in these modern developments that make us so unhappy. You know, people keep on. I think one of the two things that really steal your joyfulness. One is advertising. Because advertising is based on you don't have something, and if you had that, you would be happy. You are unhappy. That is the premise of all advertising. You are unhappy. So the first thing is, how can you be happy? You cannot be. You must be unhappy. And then here is our product which will make you happy. So advertising is one of the worst possible things when it comes to stealing your bliss and joy. And they have the statement, you know, all you need is more. Hey, dil mange more. Potato chips, layer Pepsi. All you need is less. All you need, all I need is less. All we need is less. And that is what the primitive cultures had. They realized that all we need is less. That was santosham. That is why they had sukham, santosha, anuttama, sukha labha, is because they realized all I need is less. And modern civilization, a big question mark with quotes, civilization. How can you be happy? You only have one car. That too, it's 3 years old. How can you be happy? You only have that mobile. It's already 6 months old. You don't have the latest version. How can you be happy? Ye dil mange more. No. Ye dil mange less. What you need is less. And what happens is, in that you grow, because the moment you need less, bliss will be much easier to achieve than when you need more. Because this need more is a bottomless pit. So one is this advertising marketing strategy, Nilachal. Yes, this is one thing that really, really kills joy. The second thing, comparison. If you want to be unhappy, start comparing yourself with everybody. Seriously. You know, you are so happy. You have got a new job. You finally got the salary you think you deserve. Wow. Woo, 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 woo. And you get to the job And during the coffee break, now for the first 2 hours, you're so happy. You're banging away at your computer, you are efficient, and you are in that blissful, wow. 2 hours later at the coffee break, you meet your colleagues and you find out that a colleague of yours in the same rank is getting 5,000 rupees more than you. Congratulations, you have moved from sukha to dukkha. From Saumanasya to Dhavamanasya, you have moved. Oh, poor me, I'm getting 5,000 less than that person. 2 hours earlier, you were at the peak of your bliss. I tell you seriously. The moment you start comparing yourself with anybody else or anything else, you have put yourself on the path of losing your happiness, your bliss, and your joy. Stop comparison. Realize you need less. All you need is less. Realize that you are limited edition, one of a kind. Last night they gave me a cake at 12 o'clock, limited edition 1972. Every one of us is a limited edition. Every one of us is a limited edition. Every one of us is the only us that has ever been. You are the only you that exists on this planet. There is no other you. Then why compare? I think if I could change one thing about us human beings, I think it would be this. Because if we stop comparing, we would be in that state of santosha, we would be in that state of sukha, and anandam would be manifest in everybody. Every one of us is a unique specimen of divinity. Every one of us. And if we can just find that unique feature of ourselves, stop comparing with anybody and realize all we need is less. That Anandam, 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 Paramanandam, Satchidanandam, Sadanandam, Sadananda Tandavam, that Shiva dances. Dance your way into bliss. May you all be blessed. May we all be blessed to find that Anandam in our life. May we be a vehicle to spread Anandam in other people's life. May we stop comparing. May we stop wanting more. Let us find that beautiful Sukha Sthanam within ourselves, that Ananda Sthanam within ourselves, that point of bliss within ourselves. Be blessed, be a blessing wherever you are. Thanking each and every one of you for your beautiful, heartfelt birthday blessings. For me, the blessings of my elders, the love of my yoga family, it means everything for me. I am truly blessed to have all of you in my life. Be the best you, wherever you are. Dhanyavadaha, Nandri Vanakkam, Ayushman Bhava, Vijayi Bhava.